Welcome to the show. You look incredible, like a dessert that owns a yacht.
That's exactly the vibe I was going for. You know, sweet but slightly out of your tax bracket.
Mission accomplished. How does one even shop for a suit when your head is...
Gold on my neck, gold on my hand, purple with the stripes, that's the walk of a man. Sidewalk shining, city lights humming, every step I take, they know a boss.
Blazing the whip, gotta vanquish the needs. My kingdom for some poppy seeds. Yo, yo.
Is that a poppy seed? You realize I'm your P.O., right? Straight to booking!
Police or zombie problems? Your tortoise won't stop breakdancing?
Try blue tape.
The miracle of our age. Yay!
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Yo. 100K gone. You thought it stayed quiet, huh?
2G in the chat like.
Yeah. You flash fake racks on the timeline. Captain said charity really with grind time. 100 bands raised, 100 bands off. You the touch to the halo with a cross. 56K from an angel in the comments. Heart full of faith, you turn to the prophet. Screenshot saved, every promise, every pledge. Bank statement singing when you tweeting off the edge. You ain't built for the smoke, you invited. Try to play God, now the numbers indicted. Seems like razors cut through the myth. Whole squad looking like an organized grift. 56K from a donut thief. 100K gone, it's a stolen dream. Wanna stay dark, but the neck got teeth. Now you mean and you clip, and you caught on stream.
That umbrella guy call it out on screen.
Yeah, we see you.
You prayed on the pain, turned trauma to a token. Each side story just a tool you were holding. Help the cause, every line pre-written, but the cause was your closet in the car you sitting in. You love weak links, hunt them in the thread. Baby, I care while you strip their bread. 56K from one, that's a life in Nash. Your bar drip, that by time they'll never get back.
That means get your face with a clown crown clips on repeat when the lies all fall down. To a G on the mic, every chart, every slide broke down a breakdown, let the numbers collide.
You can't hide from the playback. You can't scrub with the chat track. Every bless you turn backhand. Every trust me now backfire.
You ain't a boss, you a bookmark. Held on the page where the fraud start. Whole damn mark in a thread in the chart. History written in the sidebar remarks.
56K from a donut thief. 100K gone, it's a stolen dream. Better stay dark, but the neck got teeth. Now you mean when you clip, now you caught on stream. 56K from a donut thief. 56K from a donut thief. 56K from a donut thief. 56K from a donut thief.
Run that map, 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 run that map.
All right, what's up, folks? 56K from a donut. I like it. How are you folks doing today? Man, it was one heck of it yesterday. I mean, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, I like that. I liked that song. I liked a couple of those lyric lines out of there. They actually kind of real. A few of them hit. A few of them hit pretty well. I was like, all right, good deal. You know, I like the I like the 100 bands raised, 100 bands off. You're the type to steal the halo off a cross. I kind of like that one. I thought that was pretty nice. But anyway, hopefully, people, if you enjoy those, by the way, man, they definitely. I like to make them, but they only allow so many a month. So if you enjoy those or enjoy anything else that we do, make sure that you definitely tell people we are alive, tell people that we are out here, we are going, and beyond that. If you want to support the endeavor, you like songs, you like creativity, consider ye old breadsticks. Breadsticks make the world run, baby. But no, I like that. I think they're fun. You know, with that, I think we could do about 2 to 4 a month with some of the programs out there now. But yeah, the last couple of days have really gone pretty. I'm going to say pretty freaking wild with the ecosystem itself saying that 3 people in the ecosystem have flipped, which is amazing. You have the accusation is now that 3 people have indeed flipped, and they're going to find out the who. But they were saying certain members of their stuff, they have indeed flipped. I mean, check this mess out. It's amazing. Like the stuff we're going to look at again. I thought we would go over today what had come up a couple of days ago, but you know what? Last night was so off the freaking chain that I think we're actually going to end up talking about that. I'm not stunned by any of it, but at the same time, it's amazing how many people on repeat out of the ecosystem, they end up kind of on trial, you know, and when they end up on trial, it's the fats putting them on trial, trying to ruin them. And it's kind of fascinating to watch and to behold. But look at this. This is kind of wild. I mean, when you go in, don't take my word for it. But look, this is what they said. So as far as I'm concerned, Jeremy Hales was right. This is Miss Ecosystem herself last night saying Jeremy Hales was right. What about 3 flippers? As far as I'm concerned, Jeremy Hales was right that 3 people in the ecosystem have flipped. They definitely flipped. It said, definitely. Now, whether they flip to his side or not, I don't really care. You know, when you talk about flipping, they are saying they're talking. They're telling what exactly has transpired. And flipping is not a good word, you know. I mean, it's definitely not a good one there. But yeah, they're saying 100%. Now, there were other admissions that happened last night, too. You know, in here, you're going to have discussions about things like drama. You're going to have discussions about other channels and more. But while everything was going on, you had the mods talking, too, because they were kind of, you know, the old mod squad. You know, again, the people that were very happy bringing us the greatest cult hits. Well, they were telling things, too. They were telling things like, here's a little snippet. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. But they were saying things like, just listen, to drink this in here. We're back in the chat. She touched base on recordings. Yes, this is Stacy talking. I was recording for her because there was so much that info that she was looking for. I would just record a show and send it to her. I didn't pick and choose parts and bits and whatnot. And yes, I do try to watch everyone's show. I never broke down a show. I just recorded. Now, I'm curious. I'm going to ask a question about that in a minute here, but we'll get there in just a second. But I picked out what you need of it because I'm not in this case. I'm just here. We're supporting a friend, important for her and her cases. Basically info gathering, I guess you could say. Now, the one her with Tug and Michelle, that wonderful live stream that they commented on quite a few times. Here's an admission it's pretty fascinating here. So you have, again, Mod Squad here saying, yeah, that live stream, I told her, you really need to watch this. You need to go in and you need to check this thing out. She said, I'm not really relaying it properly. And then, according to the mod here, again, according to the people that were singing her worship and praise not too long ago, the big 2L gets upset about all that and says, well, I rely on you guys to relay to me what's said because I don't watch them. I just grab them and throw them into a file. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me the person that's setting out there and saying, well, there was no conversation, none of that ever happened, didn't even watch anything? They relied on the mod there. Now, there was enough stuff that was stated last night that I could definitively see a certain mod. Well, I won't say I would say possibly, strongly possibly, getting a subpoena because, wow, you're talking about a lot of stuff. You could potentially be subpoenaed. You say you're not in a case. Well, yeah, somebody was apparently asking you to do quite a bit. He talked about that, and she's talked a lot about you too. But it's funny, you're telling her, hey, wait a minute, Michelle here is she's talking about you. She's been talking to these people over here. And absolutely, if you go in and you listen to it 100% definitively, these people, what's amazing is they recognized it. They were like, oh man, this is not good. This is some big time stuff. She's talking about wanting to put you in jail and more. And by the way, there was just a huge court decision, or rather a law enforcement decision. I shouldn't say court decision, it hasn't come down to court yet, but a huge law enforcement decision to arrest somebody. I don't know if you all have seen the family. Again, I'm gonna say it. It's gonna sound mean the way I say it, but this is the description of it. Have you ever seen the videos of the most quote unquote inbred family out there? Have you ever seen those videos? Like they went around and there was like millions and millions and millions of hits on those videos when they came up. Well, people took money up for them, and that money it didn't reach its goal. And in not reaching its goal, the Whitakers, yep. So the money, if you keep up with that case, it is starkly considerable. It's comparable, rather. It's taking me a minute. My bad. It's starkly comparable to what we're looking at now, because you're talking about quite a bit of money that was taken up, money that did not reach its intended persons, and it was not used for the stated purpose. It really reminds me of what we're looking at right now, and those people are potentially in it. There's actually a couple of cases. There's another case as well that I was watching something on where there was money that was taken up, and it was misused as well. But that one right this moment, if you're curious and you want to look up a case, in fact, we may look it up for ourselves for comparison purposes. But it really does remind me a lot of this case because, like I said, people came out, they were like, we're taking up money for this poor, disadvantaged family. You got to get in on this, and well, guess how that went? Guess how that went? So it's the same thing. Yeah, something like 14 felonies. Now, that's got to be scary to these people, especially when they got flippers all around. Now, she goes on to say, 2L gets upset, tells them again, she just grabs stuff and throws it in a file. I thought she was watching some of them guys. That's what the mod here, Stacy Nat. Yeah, if you haven't been keeping up with this so far, the Nat and Flea show that we were kind of laughing about, that went on for a while. Yeah, so she's turned on somebody that's attached to that. She's turned on that Flutter yo, and she this would be the second live stream that she's put out where she went after not just her, but she went after that head again, the people that were part of the cult songs. It's kind of amazing that you have all these folks and they went from heavily in that camp to now 2L is talking about them as traitors and more people that have definitively flipped on her. And you find out again when they're talking, she's just like, now here's the thing. She said this, so I never broke down a show. I just recorded, Okay. Well, then she brings up, I didn't know she wasn't watching this stuff. She was just relying on our notes. Well, I'm confused here. How do you have notes and not break down a show? Both of these things can't exist, So I think they were breaking down shows, making notes for her, and then they were noting to her. They were like, "Yeah, she says that she's just relying on her notes. Well, I'm not here just to relay notes to you. That's not what I didn't think that was what this was for. Yeah. And if I'm not relaying something properly, because I'd want the full thing out there, I'd want her to get it. So that's kind of interesting. You got these people not only running free labor, but they got people out there that they're like, yeah, record this show for me, go and give me a synopsis of it, and again, if I'm going to watch something, I don't mind going in and marking it up. But one thing, if I discuss something with a Megan or somebody else, part of the key there is for people to make their own decisions on it. It's kind of wild. It was also kind of wild when they were bringing this up. So you actually had 2L bring up the exact same subject. And 2L was like, yeah, I never asked them to do any of this stuff. They're just drama. That came up. Let me see. Let me pull it actually. Let me bring that up. I thought this was really funny. It's funny to see it described between people, because that was that was right on the thing we were looking at. So check this out. Now there's a bunch of stuff. It's amazing. This stuff is absolutely freaking amazing. Just because you're talking about people that were handling their auctions for them, that were taking care of other stuff for them. And then, like I said, these people yesterday, they whole hog turned on them. Well, they turned on them more before that, but they made sure that they were trying to send people to their channel. Now, funny enough, the channel itself was actually broadcasting a members only, so 2L couldn't go in there and really disrupt it. But they were not very happy that discussion was going on about things either. I'll show you some of their chat and some of what their chat was saying too. But here, she's like, I don't like the drama. I never get into the drama. But this person, that person, Stacy, loves the drama. She watches all the hate channels every day. How do I know? Because she was recording every one of them and sending them to me. And the one thing, when you saw her here less and less stuff, yeah, there are things that happen backstage. I told you guys, I don't like watching the shows out there. I never asked her to do these things, but she'd do it anyway. Why? Because she said she was watching them. Okay. So I was backstage and she would try to play this and that. Okay. And I asked her, no, don't do that. I asked you, please don't do that. To the point where I didn't want to embarrass her in front of everyone else that was present. I literally walked away. So 2L in part of her story, she hated the drama so much that she walked away from the mods because they liked the drama, not her. Oh my God, that's a funny one. That's pretty funny. These guys, though, what's really sad, it reminds me of the Shara incident. I'm not comparing the people here. I'm just comparing the 2L boost. All right. So the what the hell's media ecosystem, when they went in and boosted people, they supposedly helped them out. What did they give them? With Shara, she was relegated to about 20 subscribers, right? Well, interestingly enough, the mod squad there, they pull about 25 people on their own. And unless there was one time I remember them pulling 63 people. That was the top of the food chain that I can remember. And typically, though, the most they would get boost wise was about 20 people. It's weird. It's almost like there's only a few handfuls of these folks, but they're always out there trying to auction things off. And the viewer bump, it was negligible at best. So they have signed on for all of this drama and vitriol and ugliness that is being pointed their way for a max increase of about $20. Now, what's really funny about this is the people that they're going after right now, these mods. One of the things outside of free labor, they were doing a lot of free labor. You have one of these people that's organizing auctions and more. Now they keep bringing up the fact that, we paid for their phone. Again, like I said last night, I worked as a case manager at one time. I was on call all the time, and they had an on-call phone. Now, when they supplied me with an on-call phone, I did not consider that anything as far as them comping me. That was something that they needed. It was a necessity, but it was something that I would have thrown back in a heartbeat. If they would have told me, this is part of your compensation, I would have laughed. If they would have told me this is your only compensation, I would have very much laughed. And, I'd have given it back to them and said, well, thanks for the nothing, So for them to say that they were giving somebody a phone for a year that was doing auctions daily sometimes, that was going in for hours sometimes on that's not very much. That's not very helpful. Getting you online and forcing you to do something like that's not helpful at all. She put the video. of her explain what happened. Oh yeah, behind a $500. Oh yeah, you know that video? Hey, I've got it. That's fun. So the video where she's explaining, yeah, so she hides the original video. And actually, what's funny about the original video when they describe what happened when they turn on these folks, they put it behind a paywall. But what's really funny last night is she's like, yeah, I put it under my highest paywall, because nobody's gonna pay for that. I was like, oh my God, you're admitting nobody would pay for that garbage? Not that level? That's funny. No, it's so good. We already have it, we absolutely already have that one. So they don't, but they made a big deal out of that too, acting like that was doing the people that they did that to some kind of favor. Well, we hid it behind a paywall, therefore. Now, when you're looking at it, some of their chat did not like this stuff, by the way. You have some that are definitely on script and know their place, but the other ones are like, oh my God, this needs to stop. This is no different than germ bashing everyone on his videos. You need to drop it and move on. So sad. Maybe one day some of these people will have a moment of clarity. Maybe. They had some mods stepping down, they had some mod removal, but at the same time, they have excuses. I mean, they have things like, again, there have been 2 mods removed. That's it. 2L doesn't care if you watch, when you watch, or who you watch. This isn't about taking sides. This is explaining to people that keep asking questions. Now, what's really funny about all of that too is they said for the longest time that there was no animosity. Remember when the mods, they were not only doing their own thing, but they were streaming at the exact same time as 2L. And we had talked about that. We were like, this is pretty wild because they're over streaming, this kind of thing. And again, when you do that, that's not you necessarily. If I do it, for example, if I do it, it's an accident, and I'll talk to the person and be like, yo, sorry about that. I didn't mean to, drag my channel over like when you're live streaming. But sometimes it's intentional from people. And these people, they are doing that. That's actually a kind of a sign, when people are not popping up on your show anymore, when they're streaming at the same time, it very much says something. It does send a message. So, they tried to tell. It's funny too. People like Marla Hughes were also, through this, they were running all kinds of freaking damage control while also going after people. Look at that. Tizzy the Bounce making the list. It's a fact that Tizzy is a known troll for Jeremy Hales against Lisa and others. She makes fun of her channel. Oh my God. Oh my God. You mean the lady that does the factual presentations? I don't believe that's in troll. I believe if somebody goes out and does those. Yeah. You had, though, again, some people know their place. Like I said, they say things like straight up. Oh, no. When this started, it was when Lisa brought her new co-host on. It's just all pure jealousy. Again, this is how it goes. This is also the way that Lips went. If you remember, when she came back into the ecosystem, it was the same kind of damage control. She was out there. She was running her little Oppression Olympics freaking live stream saying, oh, they're all turning on me. They're all turning. Lips, she's turned on me. She's crushed me. You guys caught that, but it was pretty amazing. Oh, by the way, check this out. This is random here. So I told you guys over the last couple of days that not only did me and a table have a problem, but me and a dryer did, and I ended up buying a new one, right? So after I got a new one, now this is from Lowe's, by the way, I had a problem where they apparently didn't put the plug on, right? Right. So today they delivered a replacement. Sounds good, right? So I go in to check on it after they had just left. I pushed the power button, and guess what? It didn't turn on. And I thought at first, well, first of all, I thought that's not good because they didn't check to see whether or not it works. But on top of it, I thought, well, maybe it's the surge protector that's, maybe, or not the surge protector, but the breaker. Maybe I tripped the breaker on it, and, maybe I forgot to turn it back on. I couldn't remember, which I did turn it back on, by the way, but I couldn't remember if I had or not. So I went, checked the breaker. The breaker was good to go. I'd flipped everything back on. It didn't turn on. I also noticed as I pulled out the dryer, and I took pictures of this because it is so insane. Actually, I'm going to send one of them over to myself because this is so nuts. This whole thing. I mean, it's unbelievably crazy at this point, because I spent a bit of time complaining today about this subject, but I looked behind the dryer. I looked over where the vent comes in, because I'd gotten a new vent that goes into the dryer. And when they had installed it, let me pull up this picture for you. You would not believe. I mean, this is a brand new device, just by the way. Let me show this to you. So when they had installed it, they had almost ripped the stupid thing in freaking half and just left it there. Now, the two guys that they sent out, they didn't have any idea what they were doing, and you could tell they were bad. But look, check this out. This is how they left this. Like, no joke. Look at this. That's new. That's brand new, by the way. They just put it in. So I look behind it. It's got plenty of area, You can see where when they were putting it in, look at all this mess they made behind here too. I'd gone in, vacuumed it all up. The mess is not the problem. That's a problem. This is new. So, as was noted last night, there are 40 dryer fires a day. So people have problems with that. And again, the first people that put it in, this is the worst thing. The first people that put one in and the thing caught on freaking fire and sent the breaker. It didn't burn the house or anything, but you could smell the electric fire to it. They did a better job setting up than this. So I contact Lowe's, and Lowe's tells me, hey, you got to contact the place the replacement comes out of is actually Nashville. It's not the little store here. So I called them, and they're like, yeah, we can set up a third replacement, but you'll have to be there pretty much all day because the delivery window, if you wanted the next delivery day, which would be this Sunday, it'd be from 8 to 8. It was like 8 to 8. No way. So I contacted the store up here because small store, they're nice people up there, but this is absurd. So I contact them back and I told them about it. I was like, this is crazy. And there are people, they were like, yeah, we'll get this sorted. So this Wednesday, third try, I was like, man, if this thing is not working in my house and hooked up, you need to bring me some money. And they will, after so many times, they will compensate you somewhat too. So we'll see how that goes. But what a mess, man. Just a note, what a freaking mess. How many of these problems are done by less than skilled people that are bringing devices in and putting them together? When you get a new washer or dryer, either one, these days, they ask you what kind of plug you want because the plug doesn't come pre-attached. It depends on how old your house is, whether you have a 3-prong or a 2-prong in the US. Okay. So you can either put it on yourself or you can have them put it on. And most people they have the delivery people put it on. That makes sense. So that way, they sit down, they have tools, bzz, 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 and bam, they can test it before they leave. Well, unfortunately, many of these people who are delivering have no idea what they're doing. So that's how that went. Now we're going to continue with our subject. I just wanted to show you all that because I was like, man, you have got to be kidding me. Now they also, so when they were bringing up the hatred as well, they were noting things like, again, the Mod Squad, they're completely turning against these folks. They noted things like, I noticed last night that Stacy, that will be the Nat, remember it was the Nat and Flea show. I got a good laugh out of that for a while. Well, Stacy Nat was saying that they're all about love, and Flutter, the person there, well, she immediately replied with something snarky. Dun, dun, dun. This chaos has been going on over to smaller auxiliary channels, by the way. They had a channel. So one of the channels that they go on, they were supposed to be over there playing games, and the other day, while all this stuff is, it's totally all good to go. 2L's not doing anything, right? Well, while they're playing their game, they start bringing up the word flipped. They keep talking about, oh, flipped. And as they bring that up, they start, give me 1 second here. They actually start dissing these folks, which it's kind of amazing to me. Again, they're supposed to be playing a game. They're supposed to be goofing off, but instead of goofing off and having fun, they're setting on there and check this out. This is what's going on even on their smaller channels. You can see, flipped. When they bring it up, you can find flipping too. So they bring up when they're doing guessing. Oh, this person, I'm going to guess this person for an answer. If you look at the transcript for it, because I was curious, I pulled the transcript of that live stream too. Anytime they would pull up somebody's name, they'd be like, yeah, that person right there, I wonder if they flipped. I wonder if that person's a flipper, And when they're talking about that it's kind of wild, because they went from kind of making an offhanded joke to then they were taking shots. You can see, is he a flipper? Was he a flipper? Let's see. One of them has to be a flipper. I mean, look how butthurt. This is butthurt about it. I'm still trying to figure out who the flipper is. I've got to figure out who the 3 flippers are. They acted indignant about it at first, but they also were kind of going after the little Mod Squad too. They were making sure that they were setting up the nastiness that they were going to point their way. And then last night, man, the floodgate. Well, it's really not just last night. There were 2 live streams. So out of 2 live streams, including one that they put behind a paywall, they put one behind an absurd paywall, by the way, where they described kind of the drama and how all of this hatched out, where all of this stuff started up, how all of this stuff is carried on. The first live stream that they had with that, they described how things went like this. They said, now again, I noted some of this, but I want to read over a few things here. So Lisa got asked, Robbie, a plan got hatched to buy a phone for Flutter. That's what they're talking about, to help do Robbie stuff. Robbie said agreed, and in exchange for Flutter hosting lots, posting claims, running timers, writing things down, essentially running auctions. You know, again, an unpaid labor force in exchange for giving her a phone because she can't get online because she's having problems paying for her internet. They want her to be unpaid labor. They want her every time they're online to run all the auctions, send all the stuff over to to the other part of 2L. You know, the quote unquote bookkeeper. Yeah, so they can reconcile their books. They'll pay her phone bill for 1 year. Again, not a very good deal. I'm going to say, like I said, I would not consider that compensation in any way. Flutter, you know, if people are modding's a voluntary job. And I love the mods. They do a great job. But that by itself, that's just, hey, if you're here, I don't ask. Some people don't do a lot. Some people do quite a bit. It all comes together, and it's beautiful. At one time, funny enough, at one time, I wanted to approach it where no one could be banned, and I'd give everybody a wrench. But unfortunately, that experiment doesn't work. You have to have mods. So people here, they do an awesome job. But, you know, most YouTube channels, that's as far as you go. If you actually have people that are auctioning things off and more, you know, you're compensating them. That makes sense, right? Well, not in the ecosystem. Oh, I hear little legs and little. Check this out. This is fun. Hey, come over here.
I'm trying to find my bag from Gigi.
Your bag from Gigi's? It should be upstairs by the door or in the kitchen where you guys came in, right?
I think it can't be in the
kitchen. Okay, well, you know, today, I know yesterday you had a little bit of problem like cleaning and stuff. You know, today though, you're great. You're doing great, right? You can clean. Huh? No, why not? Why can't you clean? Huh? What's wrong? What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means.
That means.
Oh, not your knee again. Whisper in my ear. Is it?
My leg.
Oh, not your leg again. Oh no. Yeah. I'm telling you. Oh, have you been limping around all day too?
I haven't been limping. I've been trying to keep the foot down.
Okay. Well, you better if you're not cleaning, you better go do your thing today. Actually, why don't you tell me about your day for a minute? It's funny. Somebody, when they don't want to clean.
No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Their leg is like,
no.
Oh no, it's falling off.
Blah, 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 blah. Yesterday, it was actually hurting.
I remember how it was actually hurting when you were running back and forth and being crazy until it was cleaning time. Hey, look at that, by the way. Look at that super chat. Isn't that cool? Oh, it's flying. You love those stickers, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle
$10.
Dawn. Yeah, that's right. $10 and a super sticker. Can you say thank you?
Thank you.
Oh man, what is that there? That's Bradley the Sloth.
Hi.
Yeah, $5. You're right. Good job there. Bradley the Sloth says there's money for you to clean.
No.
Hey, don't scream by the microphone. Oh no, you're getting your little piggy rage going on. Do you hear the squilling piggy rage? Oh no.
Me tonight is a clean day. Okay.
Yeah, she just mentioned her hand like you mess with me on this live stream. I'm gonna get you.
Yep.
That's
and
what she was
I'm
doing.
gonna come to your house at nighttime and say no.
Oh,
Don't
no.
make me clean. And what does it say?
Oh, this one right here. There's who's your daddy? Can you say thank you?
Thank you. What
It says that's for a new leg. Maybe you can buy a new leg so you can clean.
You gotta be a chicken stop tomorrow.
Oh, look here. It's Spirit Walker. How much is that?
$10.
$10. That's right. It says,
And what does it?
it says hello to you for you and Sissy. Can you say thank you?
Thank you. I guess I have
Oh
to share
man.
it with you know who.
Hey, here's yeah, you have to share it with you know who. That's right. Here's Archie's mom. Since you for 9 months, that's great. I've been a member for 9 months. It says, "Oh, poor you. You got housemaid's knee. Oh, that's terrible. Yep, working so hard. You got a housemaid's knee. Nope. Here's Lynn. How much is that?
$5.
Yeah, $5. It says payment for cleaning.
And $2 for my day.
Yeah, can you say thank you for the payment for cleaning?
Yep.
Are you gonna clean now then?
No!
Oh, you're too injured, right? I forgot. My bad. Martin, yes, $2 there. This is for you not to clean. Oh my goodness.
Yep, because I'm going to come to your house at 3 a.m. and literally say, don't clean in the live streams, okay?
You're going to come to whose house?
Whoever says clean.
Oh, she's going to come to your house at 3 a.m., she said, after it, and be like, there ain't no cleaning in the live streams.
Yep, it is.
Oh, my Lord.
And your uncle
Hey.
was playing it all night.
There's Yeety. Yeety sent $2. Can you say thank you?
Thank you. I'm going to
Yeety.
swim in your eardrums all night when I come
Swim.
to your house.
Swim in your eardrums?
Scream!
I thought you said it's funny. So said no cleaning, no money. Uh-oh. Hey, can you say thank
But
you to
you
Rio
sent
Ryan?
me money.
Oh man. Hey, can you do something? You know the floofy cat? The floofy cat's been sick and at the hospital. Can you send them some love and tell them that you know we're thinking about them? Because I know you like the floofy.
Yes, and I think we got.
You want to
the
tell them?
best.
Yeah, you send them a you're the best. That's really nice. Yeah. You know, they've been going through a lot there. And thank you, Rhea Ryan, for noting that too. Yes.
I like Fluffy Cat.
I know you like Floofy Cat. I know you like the Floofy quite a bit. So, you know,
I like that name for them.
I know you do. Oh, look, here's Joan sent 10. Can you say thank you?
Thank you.
Says for you and Sissy's strike fund, so you don't have to clean. Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've been beaten with someone that are not cleaning.
Yep, apparently. Oh, here's Shell sending 5. Can you say thank you?
Thank you. And what
She said that, you know what? She heard leg warmers. They help out injured legs. Have you heard that? Is that why we don't mail leg warmers? Because of injury? Because they help out with injured legs?
Well,
We wrap up legs. Is that what you need? You need like 6 leg warmers wrapped around your leg. Maybe it'll make it well. Maybe. All right. Hey, give me a hug. I gotta finish up the crazy stuff I'm talking about.
I
Step
don't
into
like for my bag because the stuff that needs to go with the refrigerator without the refrigerator.
Maybe Gigi went ahead and put it up. But go find out. Go look. We'll clean tomorrow then. Okay. Okay, Limpy McLimp.
You are Limpy McGuire.
Whatever you say. What chicken butt?
What chicken butt?
Me.
Chicken salt. Chicken butt.
Hey.
Chicken salt. Chicken fly.
Hey, by the way, Archie's mom sent you $5 and said that you're too posh to clean. You know, you're too fancy. You're like, oh, I am too fancy to clean this. So this is money for you and Sissy just for being beautiful. Oh, she like that.
I am beautiful. What?
You are beautiful, very much so. You
And
are very
cute.
cute. Yes, you are. Yep. All right. Well, go do your thing. I'm going to keep going through here. Go find that. And hey, make sure that if there is something that needs to be put up, you either put it up in your refrigerator if it belongs there or in the big one. Okay.
I'm keeping my stuff in the salt refrigerator.
Okay. Well, if it's.
You're gonna show it, but you're not take all of them because when I take one from me.
Mhm. Well, if it's your stuff in your refrigerator, then she can't take it all. You know. Close the door, okay? All right. You heard that. She, like I said, for her Christmas, she got her own little refrigerator. It's not a little bitty dorm refrigerator. It's one that's about as tall as she is. That was her it was funny. All these other kids are like, I want Barbie and I want this. And she's like, no, I want my own refrigerator and I want it stocked. I want I want chocolate milks, little yoo-hoos, and I want juice. I want a few Cokes. I want puddings. Everyone, all that. I was like, man, and she was just said, for the thing, her grandma will always send her stuff, to restock her there. So that's what she was talking about. She was like, oh, my bag. I got to restock. All right. So also, I missed apologies. I saw some gifted memberships too. And I think I missed you there. Something to bark about. I apologize, man. I would have thrown that in there too. I just didn't see it roll through. I think I was messing with her for a minute, but it's with something to bark about. I'll note that a little bit later too. I think you all as well, because again, oh Lord, between the video making stuff is not cheap. So I appreciate that. All right, let me wake this back up. Okay, so what you had, again, this is the live stream that is behind the paywall now. With all the drama, and again, 2L is to the point of saying these people flipped on me. So they had a plan, again, as we noted, Flutter in exchange for hosting. I mean, think about all this work. You got to host the lots. When they run it in the chat, there's a timer involved. You've got to see if anybody's, so you've got to host the lot, post the items, post claims. So if somebody says, yes, I'm picking it up, you keep up with that. You run the timer. So when the timer is going through, you run it, you reset it, all of that stuff. And you got to write down all the sales. So you are essentially running this auction. You are, while the person is speaking, you're doing everything else. And they're running it over. And for that, again, they don't get paid. They have the device that they get online with. That's going to be paid for. And so it happened. People helped. First of all, I don't consider that help. I think that's absolutely garbage. Yeah, I think many people helped. Pitched in money for a phone, including, she puts in herself, Marcia, myself, Robbie, plus other people I can't name, so, and goes around. So it's not relevant. So 6 months later, so she's been doing this for 6 freaking months. And she's like, yo, I'm having problems. I'm having problems with medication and everything. And I can't handle this. I can't do that. Hey, Hazel Money, thank you there. Restocking fee. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. So Flutter asks, hey, can you help me out? I need help writing down lots and doing items and sending them to Robbie because she's having medication issues. Now, this right here, as we were talking about yesterday, again, we just briefly overviewed a little bit of this, and then it runs into the new stuff. They're talking about her medication. Like that's gross, first of all. Talking about somebody else's medication, their med needs, their disabilities and more. When you know that, because you've been working for these people, that's pretty awful. But they decide to throw it out there, So she agrees, she said, to do it. That's when 2L, Tori, etc., they started going through, and then you get a message. The message was thanking for stepping in. It's all temporary. So this goes on for a bit, they're saying. This stuff that's going on. What's crazy too, at this time, she is still being compensated for her full amount of work. This is so gross, by the way. They consider it compensation again to have a phone paid for. That is not compensation. How many people do they get to do stuff like that to? Again, You know, ultimately, out of the scammy bullshit, this isn't as bad as some of the other stuff, but it's pretty bad. Again, forcing somebody to go in and to do this forever. Again, you know, it's also not like at 6 months, I think they probably earned their phone and a whole lot more. But they're like, oh no, you better get it back there. You better do that, you know? And they're like, no, Flutter's been compensated the whole phone bill. She's not working. Tori, oh, she's doing it. Oh no. I bet you those people get compensated, by the way. I bet you they get compensated in some way, you know. And they're like, oh, Lisa started doing it. It was so overwhelming for Lisa. And if Lisa, she talked in the chat, trolls would go there. Oh, poor Lisa. Woe is me. What a bunch of bullshit, by the way. You know who they're really complaining about is Only Me. Only Me would be there. And Only Me had been banned from all these other places. But Only Me at the time had not been banned from Robbie's channel because Robbie was getting buku money. So if they were helping out with something, then yeah, I'm sure, like I said, I bet they get some kind of compensation. I'm sure they weren't doing it out of their freaking nicety. Like, that's absurdity to me, you know. But they were like, you know, when they would do it, they'd time people out. Oh, it was stress, guys. But it was anyway. This was temporary. So fast forward to January 3rd, 2026. There's full compensation. Years later, you have Marsha backstage, muted her mic, was doing the books, and somewhere in there, she had to go to the kitchen to get a drink or whatever. She unmuted herself. She hit something on the computer, unmuted. She'd done this 1,000 times. You know, blah, 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 right? So with this, they end up having some kind of drama. They're like, you know, we can hear Marsha in the background. We can't hear the panel. Oh, no. So we were unaware that anyone was calling claims because no one in the room could hear it. So I start yelling the claims out in the back room, and this upsets Flutter. So instead of, you know, she has my phone number. Instead of emailing or calling or anything, she posts in the chat saying, I need one person saying the claims, please. Well, you've got her running things. So she's like, in the chat, she's like, hey, I need one person noting this. And they're like, it came across as her barking orders at me. Oh, God, she's barking orders at us all. So you got somebody doing almost free labor. They can't hear their job. They mention in a chat, hey, I need one person doing this, you know, so I can do my job. And they're like, oh, my God, this is how, God. And of course, they're talking about this openly, you know, crapping on people. So they go through, right? They're talking about, well, you know, there was some drama there, you know, you have frustration. And from that frustration, this person expresses their feelings about Flutter. Oh. So they decide they're going to go after her, you know, for doing her job. So when they do that, well, she supposedly emails an apology. Oh, you know, there's thanks, little pink hearts. I've got the images, but right before that, when she made a comment in the chat, and Tammy J spoke up and said, I understand what she's saying. Amen. I can understand it gets confusing, you know? So they have some people that, oh my God, they actually agree. Oh no, you know? So when all of this is coming up, they said, you know, Tammy had said stuff when she does Flutter. She just leaves the chat. She up and left. She left the auction. Didn't say a word except goodbye, that no one was typing claims. So she basically left Robbie's auction. Now, this is not actually what happened. She was, according to her, she was being yelled at by Robbie and others, and that's trash, it's happening publicly. So she was just like, screw this, I'm done. I don't have to deal with this. I'm noping out. Like most of you would do. If you were doing something and people were being garbage to you, you'd probably nope out. And again, why note this? Why does this matter? Well, because now again, these are yet other people they're turning on. This shouldn't be a public issue. This definitely shouldn't be multiple streams turning on a person, telling the entire ecosystem they flipped and more. And again, remember the similarities in doing stuff with lips and them saying, of course, oh, it was all just a plan. It was all just a plan indeed, right? So when all of this happened, you had a person speak up, so they understood what Flutter, but 2L, they're... Hey, thank you, kiddo. All right, hey, are you going to clean then? Yeah. Today? All right, well, go do your thing then. You better go have your...
Getting all my Sims. Do you want to see how many Sims I have?
Well, what you need to do is go prop your leg up if it's hurting. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yep. Go take your newly found limp upstairs. All right. Okay. Close the door. Love you. When I mentioned, I closed the door. Yeah, I forgot to. When I mentioned when I mentioned Clay, all of a sudden, she came like flying over here. And when I mentioned Clay, she just started like fake limping. Oh my Lord. Anyway. All right. So they mention this. They talk about, everything that's going on and how out of all of this, that this Flutter, she's drama. She's attacking people. She's attacking Lisa. She's attacking this person. She's making stupid songs about them. I think that's funny, by the way, because she didn't appreciate it when they made her cult songs. And now she doesn't appreciate it when they make other songs. But she was also, through here, she started throwing fits about postings. Now, one posting that she did was saying, I'm stepping away, essentially. And then she made a couple of other postings that they don't have a name on them or anything, but she was saying that these postings are 100% about 2L. And this is why she freaks out. Truths will be told very soon, and the truth will set you free. See you tonight at Stacy Nat. So 2L is like, this is the reason that, I flip out because of, God, the stupid. I mean, this stuff, like I said, when you look at all of this, again, I don't want to read every freaking word from it because it's ridiculous drama, right? But they start talking about how Flutter is claiming victimhood, that through that she even sent a picture of herself crying to Lisa because she was saying, this kind of stuff too. Like, this is, again, regardless of what I think about that or what I think about a person, that's a private issue. If they send you something, what they want is they're fishing for an apology. They valued you. I would say valued in the past, and they wanted you to be like, hey, I'm sorry. It could have been, I'm sorry your feelings got hurt. You could have worded it in a way. For me, again, if you watch me message with like Facebook or something, if somebody's upset about something, we run businesses here. So unless that person is actively some anti, and I want to make fun of that person, I'll diffuse. Definitely. Even if I think, hey, there's nothing wrong that I've done whatsoever. I don't declare war on people like that. What I do is I try to put myself in their shoes, and I try to remember that, again, this is just from, like I said, from somebody that's really at the level of customer, we were talking about. But these people are talking about somebody running their business, employees, that's even worse. Keep employees happy. If they're fishing for something like that, ask yourself why. It's because typically they are, they're doing something, and they're doing it because they like you or appreciate you or whatever. Now, you can't fix, there are going to be people that have their fits, and there are going to be people that will turn on you over time. That happens, but it shouldn't be your making. Through this, I mean, it's amazing because they talk about the mods. They talk about, mods, and you don't have to see, this is the wrong way of doing. Look, like mods, they're like, mods, if you don't want to be here supporting my channel, you don't have to. You don't need to be a mod, I'm not playing these games with you. No, a mod, like I said, I've had mods. I'm not saying anyone. I have mods upset about odds and in here, and I try my best to listen because I appreciate them. I don't look at them like like people that, oh, you're a plebeian, you're nobody. I mean, that's how this comes across. It's so crazy, And at the same time, they bring up the person's medication and stuff. They're like, oh, Flutter's been part of this family for 5 years or something. And to know that she went that deep and went after me so hard for nothing. The fats play the victim while being like, this person here, I'm not letting them play the victim. It's amazing. I'm very disappointed in them. They're very disappointing. Oh my God, dude. She's like, I'm not playing those games with you. If you don't want to be here again, attack on mods. I'm not keeping you as a mod. Why are you shocked you're no longer a mod? I don't ask anything of them. Oh my God. But I'm not playing this victimization game, But again, they go through this whole thing, all right? And then they hide all of that behind a paywall because it goes poorly, right? So I don't figure that's going to be over, but I figure maybe you're going to have, wait. Until again, like we noted, there was a blow up on the mod squad. Now, when I'm looking at this stuff, I want to make something clear too. These people have been involved in some nasty business. So I personally, when I see this, I'm not a fan of many of these people. And that's a shame because I'm going to say it like this. Look, Stacy Nat, if you'd have been smarter about who the fuck you associate with, when people like associate with myself, I don't give them 20 viewers. When people, you've seen how many people that gone on and tried to help out. If I like somebody, I try to help them. I try to shout out what they're doing. It's kind of like if they're doing good work, I try to shout that out. I try to get them, up to their monetization levels if I can. I try to get them to 1,000 subs. These people, what do they do for other people? They do nothing. So they have a blow up there, though. This ends up happening. You have Flutter. Again, I'm just going to read this quickly because we talked about this, but this links into what happens. So we need to see this. So Flutter's like, I haven't changed. Bullshit. You need to go or something. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're. Oh my God. But bye. Bye, sister. Stacy's like, you're invited. Bye. So there's more silence. So Stacy's like, sorry, guys. You guys, we're keeping the drama off the channel. And Miss 2 Lees, if you want to chat to anyone, you can message us, please. But we're not doing it live. You can choose to bring it to the live. I'm choosing to end it. And then we're bringing it to the lives. You got an issue, bring it to us in the chats. Not a live show. Thank you. Because we're choosing to not bring this to the lives. We haven't brought it to our lives until you started shit. We're done. And no, we're not flipping. I've always supported you. Always will. Well, good choice in people, by the way. You know, they go knives out. And like I said, when you're to the point, they've done 2 live streams on you. Imagine being someone like a Hales. Imagine being anyone else. I mean, really. Imagine these people. They fixate on your families. They fixate on trying to damage. And you were part of that, by the way. You know, maybe you could say that you're above drama, but Jesus, you've been part of that machine for a while. You know, I'm sure, like when the Flutter doesn't like that, again, imagine it living across the street from you. And imagine people tapping into cameras to stalk you. And imagine somebody going online and talking about your private areas, let's say, while they accuse you of some of the worst things possible. That's a little taste of the stuff that you've been associated with, the stuff that you have been helping out with. You may not be pushing and promoting those claims right out your mouth, but you've definitely helped those things along. Maybe that should be a wake-up call. If you think what you're dealing with is bad in any way, again, look at what people are dealing with. And, you know, they're like, oh, my God, he responds to stuff. Fuck yeah. You know, you can be a victim. And you can sit around. You can't play the silent game. You see this? They've already dedicated 2 streams to you. And on top of that, you don't make them money. Jeremy Hales actually makes them money. So they dedicate everything to them. Excuse me if you hear plastic opening, by the way. I got some awesome stickers today. Typically I give like any stickers that come in, they're usually not for me, but somebody sent Silent Hill and Supernatural stickers. So I'm like, ooh, ooh. So you have to excuse me as I'm live streaming. I'm like, ooh, I like them. You know. Tug like them. It's kind of awesome. But anyway, so you see, they're like, you know, I've always supported you. We don't believe in any of the bullshit that's going on. And I hope to hell you guys don't get hurt in the process of this hell shit. So stay in your own lane. Stay off my show. No one does anything to you. And as we resume, and we're back, like I said, 2026, guys, we're moving forward in more positive light. We're keeping it off the channel. And if that means I got to go block old friends that I thought were friends and family, then that's what I'm going to have to do. Sorry, because I'm not having it on the channel. You had to hear bloody here. Absolutely. They're like, yeah, okay. You know, a lot of people, it's probably very smart to walk away. When people start accusing someone of SA, you better damn well be right. And I can tell you that, again, people knew about the messaging, all of that from go. So that kind of stuff, that's bad news. That's the kind of thing that ends you up into huge liability. That's the kind of thing you want to walk away from. So these people there, although, like I said, at the same time, they admit to, I know they pop up in channels. And again, you're totally allowed to pop up in channels. I don't care if you watch my show. I mean, heck, maybe you'll learn something. It is funny, like I said, that she knew 100% those freaking those Lynette record. Oh, they're legit. They're legit, and she is definitely. You can listen to them and hear she's talking to me. So it's not questionable at all. And you might want to ask yourself, if you're experiencing this too, what did she promise Lynette Preston? You heard her make promises publicly. Doesn't that disturb any of you? I'm talking about the ex-ecosystemers. Doesn't that bother them? So last night they start going in. This whole stream is about this situation now. They keep talking about like there's a lot of crap going on, a lot of BS. I'm going to tell you there's a lot of BS going on right now. Yeah, we've mentioned it before. Let's see, what's the timestamp on that? Oh, it's part of this. Yeah, we've mentioned it before. We said we weren't going to mention it again, but something else happened. And now it's all bunch of kinds of drama. The best was last night. But they don't get into drama, of course. So as they go forward, you can see them trying to shout out the odds and end donation they get. Because usually eating your own, you don't get a lot of support for eating your own. It's usually not a great thing. What's up, Andre? How you doing, brother? But they bring up in here, I think it's hilarious how some people are trying to do things at the same time as me right now, which they never did. She's talking about Stacey Nat live streaming at the same time that she's live streaming. She's like, they're over streaming me there. And and she's, by the way, trying to use, which I don't care. She has 11 months membership. Please. She's trying to use that. Please. Oh my God. All this stuff is too funny, though. I mean, again, these are people that did their dirty work for the longest time. Just like, well, you know what? I noticed. So let's see. Okay. There's other, yeah, okay. That's what happens when you want to play games. But to me, it's kind of silly because if you went on at a different time, you get more viewers that would maybe be paying attention more to you. You'd have more viewers than if you went out with someone. Now, what's funny is the live stream, they're sending haters over to the live stream to harass Stacey and them. So what they do is they start live streaming, which makes 2L and the gang mad, because if you look at what they're live streaming, their message here, it's not only a members only, so they can't send over raiders and harass it, but that's a little dark there, I'm sure, but I'm sure you can see it. It's a monkey's backside. Oh yeah, I saw the by the way, Kendra, I saw the recall on the little refrigerators. That's the small units. I did see those though, and thank you. If you see something like that, tell me for sure. But that is not the model that she has. We also the reason that they're having problems is because of where the coils are situated. A lot of people don't, people don't think about like a refrigerator. They don't think that, hey, it's got this this thing that heats up really heavily. And if it's on the bottom of the refrigerator, don't put it on carpet. Put something between it. You know how many people don't do that? It's just nuts. So anyway, you can see their stream, members only, was tails you lose. So they got a monkey's backside on here. And 2L and the gang were not happy about that. They did not like the middle finger that came with that, the association. In fact, it made them quite angry. You could tell. I mean, you could tell through the night. They were not happy about it because they wanted to be able to go. They wanted to be able to send raiders over there to disrupt their chats and talk shit and to harass them, which again, it's funny to me because the ecosystem, it inevitably, it eats its own. I'm not saying that you don't have, you have drama in anything, okay? You're going to have drama between creators when it's out there. But I'll tell you what, unless I can't help it, I try not to ever get involved with creator drama. I try to be friendly with whomever's out there, try to get along with whomever, it's good optics. It's absolutely good optics. You always want to maintain good optics with people. You want to make them, again, feel like everyone, it's not just for them, by the way. The people who like Stacy, the people who like Flutter, or the people who, just saw this stuff coming up, you're asking them to choose sides, even though they say, I'm not asking you to choose sides. Yes, you are. And asking people to choose sides is a lose-lose proposition. This is something I try to explain to creators all the time. Like, even if you think you're 100% in the right, when you ask, and maybe you are 1,000% in the right, but the problem is when you ask other people to choose a side, they will choose a side. And when they do it, you don't always win. Even if you lose a couple of freaking people, you still lost. So, like I said, it's a lose-lose proposition. You don't want to be in that situation, and you never want to put your audience in that situation. You don't want to introduce people and then have issues. Like, that's why people like Ray, who is throwing a fit today, apparently. I haven't even listened to his crash out stream today, but apparently he was throwing fits today. But that's why people like him suck so bad, because he wanted support from folks, people like Megan. They gave him support at one time, and then he acts like a total buffoon. So you end up with a situation that, again, they're put in a lose-lose situation. But this didn't have to be a public situation. This is so wild. So what, not to be a jerk about this, but like Stacy, Nat, Flutter, all of them, they're pulling a whopping 20-something people viewing. You couldn't just ignore them. I mean, you have to throw down with them. You have to, because your ego is that, it's that sensitive. You have to go after that person. Like, that's pretty sad. I think it is anyway. But Sid, they told them, you get more viewers. Said if you didn't try to go against me, but at the same time, you know what I mean. It's kind of silly if you ask me, but I'm sticking my own set. I'm not playing games. I love the victim narrative about this. I do. I love it. And then they start going into the, how these people aren't such nice people. You have no idea, folks. It's crazy if you ask me. They tried to blame everyone else as usual. And I mean as usual. So you guys don't know what goes on behind the scenes. You think this person is always so innocent and, sweet and everything, which, they come off that way, but that's not the case. Oh, you think they're good people? You think that person's a nice person? Oh, no. They're not a nice person, which is funny because when you're accusing them of that, by the way, this is somebody that you sat on streams with forever, and you told people that they were these things. They are a great person. They're kind and they're loving. And now they're not. Now they're a piece of garbage. Isn't that fun? You got to admit that is kind of funny. I mean, again, it's so fickle. You know, and the internet game is an ugly one anyway sometimes. Like I said, people turn on each other over the stupidest things. You have falling outs. Some of them are public. You can't help that. You know, people are very good at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That happens regardless. But this right here, this is the most high profile channel out of the ecosystem, talking about how the people, again, that they have promoted as innocent and nice and sweet and everything, they're not that. They're absolutely not that, which is a wonderful self-tell, you know? I kind of love that. I thought that was amazing. I went through and marked it. Like my notes on this are pretty funny because I've got a reader where I go through and I keep it on my stuff. But they're like, you know, I got tired of it. I got accused of something I wasn't even there for. Basically, called her out on it. And I was like, "You out of your mind?" And I was ignored for 2 days. When I got a response back, it was to back up Stacy. And I was like, "What are you doing? You're making posts? You singing songs? What the hell is this crap?" And you're hurt because I didn't defend. I didn't defend you. So she even knows why this is going on. It's because she didn't defend this person. That's the main issue there. Again, this could have been diffused very simply. And I do think some of these folks here, I mean, you know, again, are they high need? Possibly. But they were putting in a lot of work for you. They call them, they go in and they tell them they're flipped. Like I said, we're going to get to that. It's wild. When I noted that in the title, by the way, I'm not going by Hale's word or anyone else. I'm going by their words. They're telling you 3 people have indeed flipped. It went from them being like, "That's not the case, it never happened," to, "Oh yeah, they did." They flipped. It's so wild. It is. It's so wild. But they want to play the video. First of all, this stuff, I ain't helping you. I'm not defending you because it's between you and Robbie. You're doing Robbie's auction. Why do I need to go and defend you? You got to talk to Robbie, not me. And you kind of screwed up his, I like it. They can't understand that she's saying auction. They think she's saying oxen. You screwed up his oxen. Also, there was an incident that happened a little while back where she was on with one of the mods, and she started doing her hacking, and the mod muted her, and you could tell she did not like that. Did not like it at all. And I thought that was funny because that right there, these are the little things. Again, these people are vindictive and petty people, you know. But you know, I didn't even know exactly. I didn't even know about it. I wasn't even there. But I was attacked by her that night. Oh, she attacked me. So I called her out. And she tried to say, "I'm hurt for this." And then she tried to play a victim. And I said, "Stop trying to play a victim. You're always playing the victim. Why?" And then she sent me a picture of her crying. And I'm like, "See? Why are you doing that? You know, I don't understand what you want. I don't understand. I don't understand that you want me to feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for you." They want what this is a classic case of somebody trying to get validation from someone. They're trying to get validation from a person that they have done a lot for, it sounds like. You know, they were asking them for a sliver of it. And hey, you know, again, if I've hurt your feelings in any way whatsoever, I apologize. You know, I value you. You're a decent person. You know what? And how hard is that? How hard is it to tell somebody that you value them, to validate their feelings? I mean, again, you don't have to admit any wrongdoing in saying that. But apparently it's too much. So, you literally went and made posts about me, and you're still sitting there and they're still up. I wasn't even there. She wouldn't take accountability. And then she blamed her medication. I said, that's not an excuse. That doesn't excuse your behavior, which is funny because when they have on lips is ADA protected. And lips, every action, no matter how foul, how terrible, it's somehow blamed on something to do with a condition, right? Any lie, any kind of stupid or crazy. You see, it's a tale of two cities. It's amazing. Actually, what it is them telling you that they no longer see the Mod Squad as valuable. They have no value to them whatsoever. If they did have value, if they thought that they could actually trade on them somewhat, then they would do some. Actually, what they would do is they would reverse this on them. See, this is a excuse the word, but this is a mind fuck, because what they're trying to do here is they reverse it. They reverse the situation, and they're like, actually, you're the problem. Because I mean, look at this here. They're like, she said, I was being mean. I held her accountable. I was not going to let her get away with this. And she wants to. I said, I'm like, no, she knows this. Anyway, everybody is going to think I'm being mean. But nobody understands how much I've dealt with the whining and the victim mentality for 3 freaking years. Actually, 4 years. 4 years. Oh my God. So they talk about the blocking game. Removing posts, or the blocking game. Blocking people because they don't want to deal with them. And in that, Flutter won't remove her posts. So it took Robbie calling her and yelling at her. So they even talk about, remember the last line, the reason I brought that up too, is because I want you to notice how the narrative changes. Remember, Robbie in the first narrative never yelled at her or did anything. Now, apparently Robbie was calling and yelling, and doing all of this behind things. Even Stacy knew about Thule's because I have a conversation between me and Stacy. And Stacy said, she's just hurt that nobody ran to her defense. Again, Stacy right here. Like this is so nasty because, again, Stacy's main crime, her mod's main crime over there is looking at this and being like, yo, at the end of the day, this is how, because what's crazy, Stacy, first of all, by the way, you do realize that when you had communications that you guys have talked about this too, you realize that you guys have made enough statements there that you would very much be subpoenable, that you may not be lawsuit material, but you definitely, you could be, depending on what's there, but all of those communications and stuff, those things should be preserved. You absolutely had conversations with this person. You had plenty of them about the case and more. They've walked you into that. So they walked you into a place where it could have cost you real problems. And ultimately, this is a message to all the ecosystem out there. Are these people really worth that? Because what they do, they will turn on you in a minute. If they'll turn on somebody like this, imagine what they'll do for self-preservation. How fast will they toss you under the bus? how fast will they sacrifice you on the altar of justice? You know, to make sure that they walk. And, I say that, and I really hope some of these people think about that. Because, again, how far I've seen what some of these people were involved in. I also, again, Stacy, Flutter, all these folks, you understand that other people that are in your groups, they do talk. I think you understand people like, if Preston will talk to folks like myself, who else will talk? How many other people have been aggrieved? How many people know what you guys were up to? So, again, I don't feel like these two, they think that any of this is worth it. Now, there's a core membership. We were talking about this yesterday. And I want you to think about this, okay? If you think about what the ecosystem was and is, I'm getting out a notebook for myself, all right? Because I'm gonna write this down while I'm talking about it, all right? So in the past, the ecosystem, if you made like a circle for the middle, put somebody in the middle, that would have been LP. It was about LP, and right outside of that, we could have even said it was about JC too. To a lesser degree, but primarily the circle would have been LP. At least that's how it was framed. Now, outside of it, the people who put together this stuff, you have BBB and you had 2L. They are the main folks that are involved in this mess. You have the PR team and you have the lawyer, the ones that control access. BBB controlled access back when. Now, outside of that periphery, you have a sordid sundry of characters. You have Volpe and Paint Chips, who are people that they've brought in. You have Ray, who is on the outside. Same thing with Super Dave. I think that Super Dave is way, way on the outside. You have idiots like even, if we're going to go to Pluto levels about there, Marla probably counts as, Pluto at any time could actually be, just like Pluto, like, no, not a planet. Remember that discussion? Yeah, not really one of us. So you can see them going in and reclassifying her at any time. But you have Guapo. Guapo is inside to a degree. You have Robbie. Robbie, it depends on the day and usefulness. But you get the point. If you look at the old makeup of the ecosystem and you look at who were players in there, now look at where people are. Look at the involvement these days. It's kind of wild. Oh yeah, Andre. So Andre noted Tug. You call out to the flippers to talk. If they want to talk, they can for 100%. 100%. Here's the thing. I've never pretended to be your friend or your pal. I've laughed at your crazy songs, but in that, the real disrespect, it was the people he made them for. When they're sitting around screaming profanities at random people, I've got to upload that whole clip. It is such a wild thing. I've uploaded a piece of it before, but for 2 minutes, it's screaming like while they're trying to play their little song. It's so ugly. Right, let's see. Let's continue here. So, let's see. We're on what, 18? So, they're like Flutter's telling Robbie all these people are behind her. So through this, Flutter apparently Flutter thought she has backing. Because people talk to her like she's a dog, and she's like. Behind the scenes, she's telling Robbie people have her back, and that's not true. So what the what, man? What the what? Now it becomes a different story. Now by the way, the story of what this person did, the terrible actions, is now that Flutter is causing problems with Robbie's auctions, causing people to be blocked, causing chaos in that and more, causing issues where they don't know who claims auction portions. So it becomes this other bit of stupid where they change up the story, because this is what they always do. They always start changing up the story. It kind of amazes me too. I look here as well. This is kind of funny. Yeah, you just said nobody's asking for anyone to take sides. No one's asking for anyone to take sides, and you'll get that from me as the truth. It's the truth. I will say to you what I will say about it. Every other freaking Hale saga, all of it. You just keep your eyes and ears open. Now, what's funny is when they bring this kind of stuff up, the people in the chat are making it clear that folks here, they got stuff like this, for example. They're already making their comparisons so they can kick these people out of their associations. They're already talking about giving them the Miyagi treatment. By the way, if you're curious about what has happened with some of this, which, like I said, I find it pretty interesting, go and look up Miyagi's channel, because Miyagi has done a video, that last one she did, where she showcases a lot of how they treat these people, and it's kind of amazing when you go in and you look at it, because again, these are people that they've had doing their dirty work, potentially walking into litigation. This isn't like some small stupid drama portion. You could have got these people sued because of the stupid that you had them involved in. And ultimately, this is what it turns into. Check this out here. So last night, which I'm going to tell you about, when somebody says they don't take sides, but then got pissed off because someone was in another chat, kind of like ragging on them. Oh, wait. So they were out there talking shit about other people in other chats? Okay. Oh, my God. We understand there's a lot of shared communities here. You guys, you don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes. We don't expect you to. We don't ask anyone to take sides, but we're not telling you how to feel. No. But yeah, we're asking you to take sides. Like I said, I kind of love it. I kind of love the double talk, because then they're like, but trust me, guys, the whining for years about every other thing. The I can't adult. I was not letting her get away with it because she's done me wrong. She's done me wrong. Put it this way. Her post caused people in the hater groups to start talking shit for Jeremy. It's Jeremy's fault. They would have to work in some blame Jeremy into this, right? Even mentioned on his channel because of her posts. Now our sister has made it even worse. So to me, it's like, who's worse of them? One of them, I don't know, and yet they'll sit there and they'll tell you that they support you, they support you, and yet they go and complain about each other. Well, and then like, what's funny here? At first, they're like, well, Stacy's not as bad. Now, this is before they notice they can't go and raid Stacy's chat. After they figure out they can't go and harass her in her own chat, that's when it gets a little bit funnier, because it goes from, well, she's not that bad, to she's a flipper. She's absolutely a flipper. I'm amazed, though. Again, talking about how I mean, when you look at this, like I said, when you see what they're saying that that this person, they can't adult. They don't deserve anything. It's just amazing. I mean, trust me, guys, for years, the whining. Stacy, she actually tries to get behind people and give them the benefit of the doubt. The only problem is she won't do that with Flutter. She tried to convince me, well, she's hurt. She's hurt. She's hurt. And I'm like, hurt or not, I wasn't there. You don't understand. That post shouldn't exist. Again, posting something. That's what got her attacked there. And it's up there, you know. Then she tried to deny it was even about me, which Stacy already like basically admitted. So it was like all this baby BS going on. And it was like, this is ridiculous. You know, Robbie spoke to Flutter, and I went, and by the way, when all it happened, I was like, this isn't me. This isn't my fault. Stacy, okay, so I immediately went to Flutter, and I also went to Stacy. And it turns out Stacy said something to Flutter like, it's not my fault how she takes it. And I was like, ugh. And I was like, whatever. The bottom line, I'm not involved, but I'm going to talk shit about you for 2 hours. 2 more hours, you know, 2 more hours of shit talk. Again, you understand why people end up falling out of love with these folks. They get a small taste of it. The whole point in talking about things like this is, again, you look at all the people that turn up. Again, a guy who gave them $56,000. He asked for just a little bit of proof, you know, that things were being handled correctly. He couldn't get it. By the way, tomorrow, remember that D Spills the Tea will be dropping us a wonderful video, one that talks about one of the folks that got taken by these weirdos. I think that is going to be a good one to watch for. I think you will all enjoy that because it's going to tell the real story. It's a sad story, but it's a story that people need to listen to, you know, for sure. But look at this. I mean, again, here, Flutter's like, you know, all this stuff that happened, she's claiming it took 2 years of her innocence away. That's a joke. She's not as innocent as everyone wants to think she is. What the fuck, man? So nasty. I mean, these are so nasty about that. She tells them, she makes these ultimatums. She talks about the posts, and she says, I'll stop talking about it when it stops showing up in my screens or my emails or whatever, because they're the ones. We said nothing about it. They're the ones throwing in digs. As a matter of fact, Flutter's the one emailing everybody about it. She's doing the same stupid that Kimmy, I don't even know who half these people are, did, okay? Emailing everyone you know to try to get that they were in the chat today trying to like sway people. And I'm like, this is pathetic. So as far as I'm concerned, Jeremy Hales was right. 3 flippers. They definitely flipped. Now, she tries to walk this a little bit. But again, that is a very definitive statement. She's telling the anti-Hales that it doesn't matter what statements come after this. She's saying they're the enemy. That's absolutely what that says. These people don't wake up to the fact that what they're telling people is, even though they're saying, we don't ask people to choose sides. Oh, they absolutely have, because they've made you part of another side. And remember, they should know this because they participated in doing this too. They have othered the folks on that other side. They have helped call them the worst things in the book. So they're now part of that. I hope they enjoy the labels, by the way. I hope they do, because it's going to come from the exact same people that they thought were all their pals until now. All that time they put in, all that energy, thinking that they that they absolutely matter. Yeah, that won't matter. That won't matter at all. So whether they flipped onto his side or not, I don't really care. Well, flippers, you know exactly what they're saying there. Jeremy Hales was right. I'm not about the drama. As far as people will call this a drama channel, I'm holding people accountable. Oh my God, that's hilarious. But like I said, through this too, she's like, I'm not about the drama, but you know who was about the drama? Stacey Nat. I can tell you what's going on over there right now is drama. That person loves drama. She watches all the hate channels every day. How do I know? Because she's recording every one of them and sending them to me. And the one thing, when you saw her here less and less, that happened backstage. I told you, I don't like watching them. I never asked for her to do these, but she would do it anyway. Why? Because she said she was watching them. Okay, I was backstage, and she would try and play this all the time, and I asked her not to do it. I asked, please don't do it. To the point where I didn't want to embarrass her in front of everyone else that was present. I literally walked away. That's how it started it. See, everybody knows this shit is like, going on with Stacy. This back and nobody knows. We never talked about it. Flutter and Stacy, they brought it on themselves. That's what they were saying. You brought it to the forefront. You brought this on yourselves. What's amazing, though, look at this. This is so funny, too. This is one of my favorite parts in here. So that's why this gets good in these next portions. That's why it was mentioned the other night, because it's bullshit. And she's going to do something tonight, which everyone thinks is kind of rude to do it by kind of members only. Okay. But that's what she's doing. I don't know. Maybe she needs more members to sign up. Okay. I took the one show that I did where we spoke about it. If you weren't here, then you weren't going to see it. If you didn't see it or didn't record it or whatever the hell it is, you weren't going to see it, because not everybody needs to know about it. Oh my God. It wasn't made for content. It was made as they did a public live. They privated it afterwards because it goes so badly with their chat. And they're acting like they did these people a favor by making it private. And then they insult their own streams. This is beautiful. To the questions that people are asking, so what I did is I didn't make it like private, like some of these freaks on these other channels want to see. Okay, it wasn't deleted. It was put under a big ass VIP membership that no one's going to buy. They'd be stupid to buy it. And I'm telling you that, and it's my membership. You'd be stupid to buy their upper tier stuff. Oh my God. Nobody's going to buy their membership at that level. By the way, if you like our content and you'd like to support it, and you want to pick up some memberships and laugh at these stupid morons, have at it. I think that's pretty funny, because what they've done is they've insulted themselves right here. They're like, yeah, we hide this, not deleting it. We put it where people would have to pay money for it. And wouldn't you know it, then nobody will pay. Isn't that amazing? Oh my God, that's amazing there. If they want it so badly, they can go pay for it. No, hey, Nat, Flutter, if you want it, write me. I'll drop you a link to it. I'll give it to you. You should hear what they said about you. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I'll shoot you a link to it. I have it. I'll shoot you I'll also, if any of you out there are curious about what went on with it and want to look at a transcript of it, let me know. I did get the transcript on it, but beyond that, I also I did make sure to get the thing as well. So I just think it's funny because again, it was a public freaking broadcast. They just decided after the fact to hide it because it went so badly for them. I mean, ultimately, what she's doing here is from the things she's asked her to do in the past, she's turning on her. I mean, ultimately, she's throwing her under the bus for being her patsy. Like, to me, that's amazing. You know, she's going the St. Felicia route. I'm the best here. I'm the nicest. I don't hurt people, you know. But here, look at this. Then her co-host is saying things like this. I don't know what happened, but I saw the attacks on Lisa. So that tells me all I need to know. I do choose sides, and it's the decent side, not hurting people. Oh my God. The victim fucking narratives, dude. You know, again, she gets to play the, oh, I'm magnanimous, I don't hurt anybody, but she's got her little mouthpiece there. Her little yipping chihuahua. Yip, 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 yip. You know, talking shit about them. Oh my God. I don't know who's doing worse right now, whether it's Stacy or Flutter. Flutter's egging it. Well, you know what's amazing is you just said, I don't know what's happened, and yet you're running your mouth on what's happened. Why don't you shut the fuck up then? I mean, honestly. I mean, what? They have this thing going on right now where they're trying to attack. And all I can tell you is we're not running to anybody or running to anybody's emails. It's not just me saying this. Look, they make it clear they're out of the group too. There are people we're actually surrounded by this when it happens. You know, it's me. It's Tori. It's Robbie. It's Tammy. You know, all the other people that were there, that were backstage, that heard their words, that heard me talk to Stacy, that heard what I said, that heard and saw what I said to Flutter. You know, this isn't secrets. It's all true. You know, I just literally got to, and then, oh my God, the whole album is an effer song. That's the other thing. So they bring up, you remember Paint Chips doing the alligator effer song? Well, that song was stolen, and they apparently didn't like that. You're like, oh my God, the whining and crying over Paint Chips. Oh my God. It's just so amazing. Yeah. Oh my God. These idiots. I mean, they go on like, look at this though. Again, I don't want to cover the whole stupid thing, you know, but when they're going through it and they're talking about it, they also bring up the other lives. And here's the other live where, again, they're playing trivia, talking about flippers. There's flippers. These people. Oh, Stacy went live. Did Stacy go live before he started? I don't know. Either way, oh, it's just drama. But I mean, look at this. Look at how stupid and crazy and awful. I mean, it goes on, and not just. Let me pull up. Let me do a name search. Give me a second. I know. So Stacy in this, just to give you an idea of how far they've drilled down into Stacy by herself, because she's on the outs now. Look, by name, and this is with it recognizing her name as Stacey. So there's no telling how many other times it's come up, you know, with a misspelling or anything else. But look at all this. Look down the side here. Like these are all mentions of her. Look at this. They were also complaining. So I liked this too. So Tizzy was over during live stream and being nice about this because there were people that were upset. So Tizzy was over again, being a nice human being, like something these people don't understand. And they're like, oh my God, Tizzy's over there trying to recruit them. Look, this is an hour and 48 minutes into this. So they have gone on about these people for an hour and 48 minutes up to here. They're dogging on them. Just, I mean, the whole time. It's crazy. See them? They're talking. So apparently, Lucinda's talking shit about me in the chat. You know what I don't give a fuck about? I mean, I'm just going to say this. Like I said, if I'm not going to monetize you and make fun of you, I don't really care if somebody is setting on a channel with 25 people watching something at most, and somebody doesn't like you there, or maybe everybody. I just don't care. You know, it's very hard for me to care. Like, again, if I'm going to monetize, then that's fine. But imagine, these are the people that obsess over random Facebook posts. They go in every day and they try to flag down groups and more because they can't stand the blow to their egos. It amazes me sometimes. But they're talking about Tizzy. They're like, oh, Tizzy DeBounce is definitely recruiting, trying to recruit Stacy. Who's Tizzy? Oh, she's a hater. Possibly D spills the tea too. Boy, you can tell who they hate. They hate D. They hate Tizzy. Oh my God, that's amazing. But if you go through, what was that? The reason I note this, like all of this here, like look at this stuff. Oh my God. By the way, Stacy, too. Look at this. Stacy right now is trying to play Megan. Ew. And we know she loves Megan and Tug because she watches them like crazy every day because she has to. I mean, seriously, it's like every 3 steps ahead, they're 4 behind. Yeah, I'm telling you, you'd be shocked. That's what I'm saying. Again, they're trying to paint them. They're kicking them out of groups where they've established where they thought they had friends for years. And some people will go with them. And how much more, again, right now, the Fats, they have some viewership because of all the chaos that's been going on. But that will whittle itself down over time. It will get smaller and smaller until they run back into the problems where they don't have a couple of hundred people watching. On top of that, the mods here, like I've said before, these people are the catch-alls when they have auctions. Another thing that these folks would do is they would bend over backwards to help out 2L, especially. You know, they would pick up all kinds of garbage in auctions where nobody else would pick stuff up. They would do it. Who knows how much money from these folks they've taken? It's so funny. Look, the oh my God. Look how obsessed. Look at all of that. Oh man. Look, oh my God. Look, you want to see what here's a funny thing. Here, yeah, let me show you what Stacy's actually accomplished, you know. Let me share. This is Stacy's accomplishment for the day. Thank you. This is what she's dealing with rather than, you know, building her business. You know what, Stacy? I'll tell you, like I said, you made a misstep with these pieces of shit because if you really wanted to build a business, you look at people like myself, you know, I have established or Hales, whomever. You know, people that really do run businesses. I run a business laughing at fools, but I also, I have sold comic books. And I've been quite good at it. I could have guaranteed you that it's just like I said with Shara, when you stop being in these idiot circles, You could have grown and expanded. And it's actually a damn shame because all these people, you know, with craft goods and stuff, I like craft goods. In fact, I support people that do craft goods quite a bit. You know, I like that. I like it when people create their own stuff. And a lot of people out there, they would have done it too. But unfortunately, they threw in with these folks. What did they really give to you? What have they helped you with? Because ultimately, what they just did is they reset you. They took your viewership down. You went from what you've built up, and they're essentially telling people that they're keeping up with who is talking and watching. So they're sending out a not so subtle message to folks that if you interact with these folks, they're on the out. They're on the out. Huh. It's so stupid, man. Look. Get out of here. Look at this. Who's this? Oh, hold on. Let me fix this. Let's see how these idiots spin this shit. Mod Squad booted 2. It's last night. Anti-Hales has been eating their own with this Lisa wanting more drama. Is this how it sounds? Sorry. Mod Squad kicked to the curb. I think that would be curb. Oh my God. You mean Fat Mouth is going to freaking try to correct people? Like for me, you know what it would put like a curb versus curve, by the way. That would be autocorrect. Oh my God. So imagine a lot of people, they would have that too. But the people that can't push, they still to this day say torturous interference. They don't learn. They want to police freaking. Oh my God, Melissa. Look at this. I'm sure Lisa will totally love and appreciate the move. Previous makers of some rather culty songs. Oh my God. Oh, look at the butt hurt from that. They're the culty song makers. Like I said, that's how I knew these people. The way that I got to know them wasn't because of anything they did that was, out there building business. It was because of the cult song. I mean, that's the only reason I knew who half these people were. I mean, again, they're the people that brought us Lisa Lee, our warrior, so strong and true. Again, queen of the land, under her rule we grew, protector of all, with a heart so vast. Stand up for what's right, that's Lisa Lee's path. She fights the truth, never swaying or swerving, with a soft heart. She brings love whenever she's roaring. So whatever, I don't know what that's supposed to say. I'm reading the lyrics here while we're looking at it. Caring forever so, under her watchful eye, lazily I protect her in every way. In her arms we find peace, safe and sound. Her compassion shines in light and light profound. Again, I wonder how foolish these people feel now after that, after seeing how this turns out, right? I mean, seriously. Look at them, by the way, whining about the transcripts. Oh God, what? Oh my God, they're doing transcripts of it. Would Tug be talking about it? I need to drop it and move on. Yeah, of course I'm talking about it. You just said 3 people flipped on it. Of course I'm talking about it. But look, again, so 3 hours and 30 minutes. Look at this. 70 mentions. 3 hours, 30 freaking minutes. And they're still talking about them, still running them down, still telling them that they're going to go nowhere. They're done. Like I said, that's pretty awful stuff. And you would think these people would learn over time. I love it. They're whining too. One of the things I love about talking about this stuff is because their responses to it. I mean, if you check this out. So check this out. Give me 1 second. So their responses are so butthurt about it too. Look. They're like, oh my God. Then you have that, you know, Tug saying anti-Hales is destroying and Fleece is losing it. As far as I'm concerned, if this way went this way, it was meant to be. It's weeds. You get rid of the weeds. Stacy, you're a weed, man. All the shit you did for these people, you're a weed. You're a nothing. You're a nobody. I mean, seriously. Also, look at the stuff that's stated here too. You know, yeah, you can deal. You know, now you're Hale's target. Good, that's your problem. She starts talking about, he's gonna like her now. Read the back shits. Look at that back. That's really what it is. I think Flutter has a plan. She's gonna flip, go to storage units with Germ, find out a whole bunch of stuff, and then flip back. Yeah, she's not as smart as Leslie. These people are like, maybe it's just a plan. No. Also, yeah. Look at the butthurt though. Look at it. I mean, so much butter. Through it, they're crying about things like making fun of stupid Dave. I love it. I mean, look at this. Look how much they're like. They're talking about us. Oh my God, Stacy. It's just good. I love it. But anyway. I wanted to introduce you folks to this stuff because it's funny. It's very funny. It's entertaining. And I knew you all would enjoy it. Now, there's a lot more. Again, if you all, for some reason, if you yourselves want to go through it more, like I said, I have transcripts of almost every stream that pops up like that. Now, I don't pull up all of the haterade streams, you know, because I have to be in the mood to go through them. But I do pull up some streams. Like I did pull up the stream with the trivia one so I could lock it in, you know. But, I mean, you can see it saves them. So you see half of the, like all of this stuff. Like even if they disappear, then there's a bunch of them, you know. And sometimes if they show up twice, by the way, in the list, that means that I've saved the main one in here itself. But if you, like I said, if you want whatever, if you find yourself, like again, like the one that they hid behind a paywall, if you want the transcript for that, hit me up. Remind me if I for some reason forget to hit you back up about that, just note it. But I know some people, they like to go through, they like to keep, and again, you make your own decision on this stuff too. I'm not telling you in any way, shape, or form like what to think about any of this. I don't. To be honest, I don't care if these people eat each other. I think they all do kind of. I'm not a friend or pal with any of them. I do think that some of them have been wronged. I think if you asked me to do that much work for free and then treat me like garbage, I would be very upset too. I think Flutter and them have a point. To be honest, again, I have no. If I thought that the facts were right in it, what would I care? I'd say it because who cares, honestly. But again, these people did free work. And I hope I know some of the hardcore folks that have been there for a long time. They've been having some questioning problems. I've seen people making videos out there noting that. I mean, again, you're talking about their mod squad. the ones that I joked about being cult members, if they can be turned on, then who's safe? And that's really where you get into it. I think, like I said, I think that's pretty interesting. So let's see what's in the Supros, shall we? Emma, what's up, Emma? Thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you for being here too, Emma. Appreciate you. You know, hey, Jack's mom, thank you for the gifted membership too. Thank you, Jack's mom. I appreciate the heck out of you as well. Man, somebody sent me a little necklace too, like a little supernatural necklace. I've been getting little supernatural things. I appreciate those. I've been on a watch. I'm finally to the last season, by the way. So I'm finally to season 15. It's taken me what feels like a million years to get there. But yeah, I appreciate those things. It does. Somebody ordered a couple of little supernatural. Oh, did I show? I don't think I showed these, by the way. Let me show these little suckers. Give me 1 minute. Give me a second here. It'll take me a minute to roll back to them. You folks post some of the funniest stuff, by the way. I love it. I get so many crazy posts. So check these out. I kind of love these. Here we go. Look at those guys, man. Aren't they cool? You got Sam and Dean. I think they're pretty awesome, personally. I love that kind of work too. You know, when people bust out that kind of work, that's amazing. I do not have the patience to make things like that, but I wish I did. You know, I wish I had the patience to go and make every one of the little supernatural folks. You know, I've got somebody is selling a Castiel and a little Bobby. I'd like what's his name? Crowley. I'd like a little Crowley. I think that would be fun. But what's funny is I have a little that umbrella guy that's about that size. So I'm gonna send them out on supernatural missions. I think that would be fun. Jack's mom, thank you for the gifted membership. Appreciate you, Jack's mom. Thank you. Max Lab, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, my friend. Should be I wonder how the weekend will be. It may be crazy. Who knows? Lisa, thanks for the 2 months. Good evening, everyone. Did you see Rosalind's post today? Oh, yeah. Indeed. I need to have a stream with Rosalind again. It's been a minute, you know? And I also, like I said, I forget things for real. I forget. If I don't write it down, if I don't have it right in front of me, I forget everything these days. So I need to go over the Rosalind stuff. Let me see. Rosalind. We also, tomorrow, again, do not forget, D spills the tea. Spills the tea. We have, Tizzy's been busting up some good ones. Tizzy the Bones. There's all kinds of, like, wonderful goodies out there. But, yeah, Rosalind, there's some, you know, what's really interesting is if you sit down with people like a Tina, for example, and you talk to her about everything that went on all that time, there are things that there's so much in there that you forget about. God, so much. Like there's so much there. But yeah, Rosalind has good stuff going on. Like I said, D spills the tea. You got that amazing stuff going. There are so many people like firing on all cylinders. Enjoy it. Yeah, thanks for the fun there. Great song. Thank you. I appreciate that. I thought that one came out pretty good. I've been experimenting with different, more complicated commands on music, you know, and I liked that one. I figure, again, we could probably, between them, you know, a good video maker, you can probably pop out a video for $3 or $4. You know, if you want it to be good, you can pop them out for free if you want to chip them together, but that takes 3 or 4 hours. You know, if you want to put one together and command it, it's about $5. And then God, every freaking AI platform though has its own stuff. So you got to make songs on one platform, videos on another. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it came out really well, I thought. Fallen Hero, thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you, Fallen Hero, man. Appreciate you. And like I said, as always, appreciate you being here, my friend. Grandma, what's up, Grandma? Lola, thanks for the table defense fund. I know we need to arm up. Those tables are coming for us. Watch out. Just Jay, thanks for the vibe. Tizzy's a monster. I'm the one who comes to the rescue. I know. Just Jay Hip rolling in there. How dare that Tizzy to bounce try to recruit. That is so funny. I mean, they got really butthurt about it. Tizzy mentioned that, by the way. You know, I saw a post from it, and that, you know what's really gross? It's the way they worded this. Tizzy, if you wanted to be annoyed by something, I'd be more annoyed by what they're really stating about you, because they're not stating that you're recruiting. This is the wording they actually utilize. They said that Tizzy is trying to groom Stacy. That word right there means something majorly different than recruiting. That is one of those gross words that, like I said, it means some pretty awful stuff. So I wouldn't care that these people, you know, they're butthurt about stuff. But what I would not appreciate is, again, them trying to, especially, you know, if you don't think that that stuff is used intentionally, that they're saying things with nasty meanings like that, trying to do damage. Whew. Like that is, they want to associate your name with some pretty heinous claims. And remember, right now, if you don't believe that, think about who's part of the ecosystem and how they've managed to get viewers. They've been doing it by eating their own, and they're doing it by making the worst claim. The worst. It's also, they're making the worst decisions you could in a courtroom while doing that too. But yeah, man, Tizzy, God, Jay Hip to the rescue there, right? But Tizzy, no, is trying to be a decent human being. That's the kicker. How dare Tizzy try to be a decent human being, right? How dare Tizzy like look at a situation like that and say, this is kind of messed up. Are you okay? And treat somebody like a human being for a half a second. I think by now, anybody that stays in the rank and file of this mess, they have to realize that if they're not just a sheep that's going to follow along, like most of these hardcore anti-healers are sheep. That's what they've been asked to be. And if they ever ask questions, if they ever have their own opinion, if they ever sway, remember they turned on Bruce, for God's sake. Bruce, a founding member of the mess. They turned on him publicly. And they can't, they're not going to, I'm sure at one day they may try to save face and be like, we never turned on him. Oh, they did. They most definitely did. I mean, again, he's the guy who got them the viewership. He's the one who put them in the pole position. 1 second. But he's the one that, you know, he didn't just hook them up with a story. He grew them, and they ate him for it. So, Spin Doctor, thanks for the vibe. You know you're in trouble when the delivery driver is YouTubing how to install a dryer. Actually, the two guys that came did not speak. Well, the first one, okay, the guy who came to the door spoke very little English, and it was very difficult to communicate with him. He was, he didn't know what the word vent. He didn't know what that meant. Honestly, no joke. I had to pull up the app on my phone. It says it because I didn't see, they didn't have the, what do they call that big dryer vent? hose, that gets hooked up. I can't think of the technical term for it, but they didn't bring it in with them at first. I was like, where is that? So I asked him about the vent cord. I had no idea. Like, he didn't even know what the word was, but his, the other worker with him spoke no English at all. And that's a hurdle when you're talking about deliveries, especially in like a place like Tennessee. You're going to run into a lot of folks where that's a barrier, a huge barrier, and they had no idea. What was really bad, though, is I noticed that even though they brought in the instructions on how to set up something, they set it out and they had it on the English side because they didn't do anything with it. They hooked up anything correctly. They destroyed the dryer hook. I mean, it's a mess, man. I was like, oh my God. I don't care. As long as you can get your stuff done, I absolutely don't care. But I think if you can't communicate with your consumer base, you do have a problem. I also found it very disturbing that this was a call to fix an issue where they almost caused an electric fire the last time. So what do? They bring in people who don't know how to hook the damn thing up. And they don't even test to see whether or not it's hooked up correctly. So, I mean, that to me, that's disturbing. It is absolutely disturbing. But mostly harmless fuzzball. Thanks for the vibe. I'm a flipper. He's a flipper. She's a flipper. They're a flipper. Wouldn't you like to be a flipper too? Indeed. Indeed. I love it. Something to bark about. Thanks for the 14 months. Love your shows. Hey, appreciate that. Like I said, I enjoy your material. I like that I can sit here, and if I have a crazy day, I can go and I can diffuse. There needs to be something that is outside of all the crazy sometimes. And I enjoy folks like yourself who make that possible, So I appreciate your material. And then, oh man, you dropped 5 giftos too. Thank you for that. Thank you for gifting other people there too. Appreciate that. Michelle, thank you for the $10 super sticker. That's awesome too. Like, I love it when the little one got to see that. You saw her reaction, like, oh, she loves those. Bradley the Sloth again. Thank you. Appreciate that. I hit these before, but I want to thank you all again. Who's your daddy? Thanks there for the 2. Appreciate you again. Archie's mom again. Thank you. Spirit Walker again. Thank you as well. Lynn, thanks for the 5 there. The payment for cleaning, indeed. I like the to clean or not to clean. That is the question. Martin, thank you too. Yeedy as well. To clean or not to clean. Yes, Riorai, I appreciate you noting that for Floofy, because the little one absolutely loves, again, she imagines a talking cat. So that is one of her favorite freaking names out there. And I actually like the gimmick with it. I think it's funny and cute. And I thought that was great. Like, she could give them a shout out too. So I appreciate you noting that. Joe, thanks. Again, appreciate that. The strike fund, I thought that was funny. Shell, thanks for the 5, the leg warmer thing. That was really funny too. I like the 2 posh to clean too. Archie's mom, that was really funny. That's a word. That's one of those words that the kids probably have not heard before. That's not a word that's utilized a lot in the States, posh, but it's a good word. I always liked it. So I'm glad you got to bring it up, because it's a word I can bring up to the kids and she'll grab onto. Hey, Monte, thank you for the restocking fee. I appreciate it. Thank you. Travis, man, what's up? Thanks for the fun there. Glad you're on tonight. Hope you and your family are doing great. Hope chat and mods are doing great. I'm doing good. Drink a few beers, relaxing. These people are nuts. They are indeed, man. I hope you and yours are doing good too. I'll be keeping you in our thoughts and prayers, brother. For sure. But I'm glad you're getting a little relaxation time, you know, tune the mind out, look at the stupid. You know, these people, they also see, here's the problem 2L has as well. 2L doesn't think ahead and say, what have these people been involved in with her? What do they know about? They've been backstage. When they say backstage, by the way, so before we have our live stream, you know, everybody congregates. You get everybody together. You can talk for a few minutes, just whatever, right? And I can only imagine some of the stuff that gets brought up backstage with the 2L business. I imagine that these people have probably heard some things that it's kind of wild. What's really crazy to me is, again, Stacy Nat said, "Oh, I still support you guys." Didn't matter, did it? She's still a flipper. Again, maybe you should reevaluate your priorities. These people would have worked you right into a lawsuit. Again, she was asking you to do stuff that it could well cause your problems. She was putting you on streams that also could have potentially caused your problems. I mean, it's a good thing that you weren't going in and making yourself part of these horrible claims that are out there lately. Again, I don't realize, I realize that makes good YouTube fodder for people. But in the real world, when you start calling somebody, saying they're an essayer, saying they've done all these terrible things, that's the kind of stuff, again, that it doesn't just lose lawsuits. It causes major liability. You know, you can argue over whether or not some of the claims with Fed 2, whether they might fly or not. But when you get down to the fact that these people, again, they spent over 10 hours dressed up like Jeremy's business in trying to accuse him of SA, and they're following the leadership of somebody that is admittedly extremely mentally ill. That's the wild thing too. They have been following along with somebody that had to step aside from lawyering because they had problems there, big ones. They're following along with another person that, again, as a lawyer, says that they were involved in a conspiracy to try to set up the person on the other side by using highly explicit items. A person that has had some of their own problems in court, by the way. And yeah, you can look up their reviews of what you can find. You can also see the things they're involved in. I wouldn't want to be part of that, personally. But, you know, at the end of the day, all these folks too, when I look at this, here's my problem, that when I try to rationalize it, you know, I get that these folks, they can be useful idiots for these people. But at the same time, these people are involved in some pretty awful stuff too, you know. So when they become targeted there, I said, maybe that's a wake-up call. But they were involved in targeting themselves a lot. But yeah, you're right, Travis. Crazy people, man. Hey, what's up, Death Angel? Thanks for the 39 months. Appreciate that. Christmas package almost ready for you and the girls. Sorry it's late. That's fine. Appreciate you there. Love and hugs to you and the girls. And love to the chat fam on YouTube. Love to you all. Hey, love to you too. Appreciate you there. Hey, you sent 5 giftos too. That's awesome. You know, also giving something to people. That's awesome. I love it. Thank you. Puzzler notes, exposing, thanks for the fun, by the way, exposing non-cooperating anti-Hales members publicly keeps the others in. Yes, it does. It says that if you even remotely question, look at what happened with, I didn't like Only Me. I thought Only Me was a horrible person to deal with, disruptive and more. But look at how Only Me was treated. And the way, I mean, brazenly, They stomped on him, and I mean, they tried to stomp on his reputation and more. And then they went out, and they've done this to look at what they did again with Miyagi. They doxed a workplace. They doxed a name. They kept accelerating. And Miyagi, what was really crazy about the Miyagi situation, if you go back, you know why they decided to turn on Miyagi? Because they thought they could get Only Me back in the fray. That's ultimately when they really started hammering down on Miyagi, Miyagi didn't turn off her opinions. She had her same opinions about people. And when they thought they could get their money, and get Only Me back in the game, they were like, oh, that person's got to go. They're the ones we're going to sacrifice on this altar. And Miyagi was like, nah, I don't think so. That was pretty fun. But it's the way it goes. And again, this has happened over and over and over and over and over again. After a little while, you would think people might wise up. Again, we're not talking about some random issues. Random issues, they always happen. You're going to have some random issues. You're going to have some, if humans are involved, there will be drama. This, however, is well beyond just your average, little bit of drama that gets dropped out. I mean, this is next level mess. So yeah, it's about keeping people in line. You're right. What's up, Palmer? Arch's Homestead. Thank you for the 15 months there. Stopping in, been lurking on the sofa with fur babies, warm blanket, sore leg. Well, you keep that leg, as the little one be like, leg, you say? No, you keep that leg. You keep it rehabbing, keep that thing underneath that freaking blanket, warm it up. I'm sitting with my two, heating blankets right now. I've been trying something, by the way. So, I take that Fluta. I don't know if any of you take Flutacort. I think it's pronounced that way. It's something it helps out with different things, but it helps out with low blood pressure. Well, the wonderful doctors that I've seen 3 specialists, they give no instruction with it. So I've been experimenting with what works with it, because it messes with your salt levels, messes with your potassium. I've been drinking V8s and gross. I'm not a big fan of V8, but I roll up under the heating blankets and enjoy it that way too. Andre, thanks for the tip. Miss the bugs. Here's some candy money for her. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. She will for sure. William, thanks for the 10 there. Sad part is early on, the Nat's husband was heard in the background of Flea, Nat, and Cricket. Oh, I remember that. It was like, you're wasting your life on this, who knew? See, so prophetic. I know it's amazing. Like when you look at it, it is an absolute waste. They didn't help them build. I imagine the expenditure that they had in trying to pop up these failing auctions that 2L and the gang were having. I imagine she probably spent more money than she was making with any of this stuff. But none of that mattered. I mean, you look at how fast these people turn on each other. I find it interesting. If they want to talk, I'm game. Like I said, I'm total game. Hit me up in my email. I'm totally, as long as you're not threatening to sue me and freaking saying that you're going to weaponize a child against me, it stays. Like I said, I dealt with Lynette threatening me for almost 2 months before I was like, screw this, no more. But if people are, if they're not doing that, then I never talk about conversations. You're not going to sit around though and threaten me like that. And most people wouldn't, So if you want to have an actual freaking conversation about what happened, they also they might think about clearing themselves of potential liability. They might actually, take their conversations. Remember, they need to preserve those. again, all conversations and communications about case, which obviously they were clipping channels. They were making notes for them, especially if they were asked to do that under direction, where they've been thrown under the bus for it. Lisa just threw them under the bus, walked them into potentially into a courtroom because of some of that stuff. So again, maybe they'd like to clear that liability because that person is not worth it. They absolutely aren't worth it. They didn't help you grow a business. They didn't help you. They just destroyed your reputation with all your customers. They reset you, except for the handful of people that you had. They ripped away what you'd been working on. So yeah, maybe you should think about that. Hey, what's up, Gendra? Thank you for the to there. FYI, I saw the recall. Yeah, I'm like I said, I appreciate people who mention this there. I did see those, and anytime there's something that's mentioned like that, very much so. It's for the other type units though. But yeah, I saw those too for sure. I was like, wait a minute, when that came up. So, and I appreciate people when we bring stuff like that up. Safety, heck yeah. Death Angel dropped $5 super sticker too. That's awesome. Thank you. Like I said, love that. Andre, yeah, indeed. You talked about calling out the flippers dog. Yeah, if they want to, for sure. Noted it for sure. Travis, thanks you for the gifted membership there. Thank you, Travis, man. And like I said, appreciate you, brother. D spills the tea. Thanks for the 2. Thank you, Tug, for all you do. Hey, thank you. Like I said, I'm looking forward to your interview. That's good. It's good work. It's something that I want to know more about. And at the same time, I think everyone else should know about. They should know how bad this stuff has been, how crazy it is, Wheat toast. What's up, wheat toast? Look at that. Look at that freaking wheat toast, isn't it? That's too funny. Thank you for the gifted membership, dude. Thank you. I appreciate you. Suzanne, thanks for the 5. Tug, are your new breadsticks warmer? Yeah, you've got the real secret, again, with breadsticks is you gotta keep them happy. You gotta kind of wrap them in leg warmers.
Was barking on the phone, all that tough talk threatened. Now you looking at the floor like judge. I'm just stressing.
Get their little leg warmers on. It's a process, but it's worth it. Yeah. That's funny. Suzanne, thanks for the 2. Yeah, D spills the tea. Video tomorrow will be awesome. Indeed. I am ready for it. Love it. Emma, thanks for the 10 there. Just ordered the frames. Oh, right. I'm looking forward to this, man. They'll take a few weeks to make. Get to me to put the stuff in them. So hopefully if the postal system works well after that, I'll have them to March. Hey, that's awesome. I know that the process takes a while. I've loved watching you through this process, making these. So thank you again. One of the things I really appreciate, like I said, where people make things, I think that's it's not a talent. It's not something that I'm very good with. Not something like crochet or knitting or anything like that. Never had that in me. But I love seeing the stuff people make. Thank you. Shadows, what's up? Thanks for the 5 there. Tug, it's my birthday. Heck, freaking yeah, it's your birthday. That's great. Turn 63. I'm here every evening. You don't say much, but I love all the laughs. Thank you for that. Hey, I'm glad. Let's have you. What is that again? Oh, yeah. So happy birthday. Happy freaking birthday.
From
heck yeah.
all of us to you.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. We love to have you here. Happy birthday. Here's to another year.
All right. I love it. I love it. I love the reason to celebrate. I love it. Love it when people share their birthdays there. Awesome there. Travis, thanks. I hope, by the way, your birthday has been a great one. And I hope you have a million more. For real. Healthy, good, fun. Travis, thanks for the vibe. Dad survived his cancer surgery. It's just being an a-hole since he's been home. But again, thankfully, it takes a lot of naps, and Mom is going nuts. Yeah, a lot of times when somebody's at home, especially after that does make you even worse to deal with. You know what I mean? So, you know what's beautiful, though? If they're being an a-hole, that means that they're also being healthy. They've made it through okay. So that's great, man. When they're there to be annoying, they're there. So that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I'm happy for you guys, man. That's rough. It's rough surgery. It's rough to go through. Great to see. Emma dropped a super sticker there. I just saw that roll through. It's cute. I like them. Big thumbs up, super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate your work. Like I said, it's been awesome to watch because I've watched it go from nothing, from materials, an idea to you making something. That is awesome to see. Give me a second here. Hey, by the way, too, we have 1 second here. Michelle, it is your birthday yesterday. Heck, let's see. You said that you have 10 more years, God willing, till retirement. Thanks again for another great show. Well, you know what? What you need with that, by the way, is happy birthday. Happy birthday, John. Heck, from all of us to you. Heck, happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. We love to have you here. Happy birthday. Here's to another year. Heck yeah. You know what? I love celebrating birthdays with folks. So it's awesome. I appreciate you allowing me that. I hope it was a great one too. And yeah, 10 more years to retirement. I hope those, you don't want to wish away a decade at the same time. It's like, man, you want them to get closer and faster. Now, what's up? Nancy said $20 with Venmo there. Dryer frustration. Indeed. Indeed. I'm going to karate chop that sucker. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, it's been so annoying. But at the same time, I'm fortunate in the fact that nothing bad came from it. It has been an annoyance because I have clothes that will be setting now for a week. That is a lot of clothes, by the way, when you have little kids, they stack up really fast. But like I said, could have gone a lot worse. It could have been a real serious problem instead of an annoyance. So I am very thankful that it didn't turn into that, for sure. What's up? One old seg guy. Thanks for the I think that name's funny, dude. Every time I see it. Makes me laugh, by the way. Tug, I came across this vid regarding a giant spider and immediately thought of you. Australia's forgotten giant spider, bugs, and biology. I'll have to look that up. I have owned some pretty large spiders over time. I had one that was the size of my hand. And, I have a pretty big hand at my eye and stuff, but it was a bird eater. I'm sure if you haven't ever seen one, folks, you should look them up. They are monster size. They are the stuff of nightmares. If somebody, if they're terrified of spiders, holy crap. You get a spider as big as somebody's hand. That's when they start to get real all of a sudden. But they were calm. Most of those things are calm. but they also know they're in charge. I'm seeing who is on. Oh man, I think we're going to raid People Watch. I think that's where we're going today. All right, we should be on tomorrow unless something comes up. By the way, we are again, if everything goes right, we are going to talk about the D spills the tea video. I want to redirect people to that as well, because I'm sure there's been a lot of work in there, and I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with other crazy and chaos too. I mean, again, and we'll see how bad this turning on the folks in the ecosystem, how that goes. Because, you know, it's not just going to be 2 people in the Alps. It's going to be other people as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But I'm going to end here. I appreciate you all, and we will see you.